campers. I'm Spike. This time around, we're looking at something a little bit different. Recently, there's been something going around called the cancel culture. This is where people get offended by any little thing, and then they go back through history of a person looking for an excuse to destroy them. Just because they said something offensive, said something they disagreed with, or they just don't like the look of their face, although they can't quite get away with that just yet. But it's coming. What I don't understand is the fact that these are grown adults doing this kind of stuff. Well, I think there's a solution for this. We need fewer adults. And I'm going to get started on it right now on the Chore of Duty. Welcome back. I was talking about getting rid of some adults. There are far too many adults. Now, I'm not going to go around knocking them off or anything, but what we need are fewer adults and more grown-ups. There's a big difference between the two. You see, an adult, that's a legal term. It's a definition. Once you reach the age of majority, that's 18 in the United States, typically. If you're looking to kill yourself with alcohol or tobacco, it's usually 21. But at 18, you can sign a contract, and it will be legally binding to you for the rest of your life if that's what you signed. You can have sex. You can have all the sex you want. You can go out and buy a car. You can go out and get work. You can move into your own place. You can do anything you want to. More or less. That's what an adult can do. A grown-up is something considerably different. While an adult is based on their age, and anybody can be an adult. If you're 18 or older, you're an adult. A grown-up requires maturity. And maturity comes not from smarts, okay? There are plenty of smart adults. We tend to shorten that a little bit and just call them smart asses. But smart isn't a requirement to be a grown-up. It's wisdom. Wisdom makes you a grown-up. And how do you become wise? Well, it's not from age, that's for sure. I have known plenty of 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds. They're adults, but I still wouldn't consider them to be grown-ups. And for that matter, I've met some 12-year-olds and 14-year-olds who absolutely were grown-ups. Unfortunately for me, at about the age of 9 or 10, I kind of had to be a grown-up. The point is, a grown-up takes responsibility for themselves. They take responsibility for their actions, and they work to overcome the things that life may throw at them. An adult's going to react more like a fourth grader would, okay? And you see that a lot in politics. You see it in a lot of social media. You see it online all the time from a lot of different people. Anything that they can do to actually avoid responsibility, well, that's what these adults want to do. We want to have all the sex, right? But we don't want to have kids. That's fine. Take preventive measures. Well, it doesn't feel right. It's too inconvenient. I don't like that. So what do? One of them winds up pregnant, and then you've got a decision that has to be made, and one that will affect you for the rest of your life no matter which decision you make. You've gotten yourself into a life-altering situation. You're pregnant, or you've gotten someone pregnant. either way, it affects both of you for the rest of your life, no matter what decision you make. You decide you don't carry the child to term, you have to live with that for the rest of your life. You ended an innocent life. And believe me, for all the flippancy you see from all the people marching through saying it's a right, it's not always that easy to live with. On the other hand, if bring the baby to term and you keep the baby, now you have to take care of it, you have to feed it, you have to clothe it, you have to do all these things. And a baby does not love you. A baby demands love 24/7, pure unconditional. You have to take care of that child. That child is yours, whether you're the father or the mother. That's your child. You brought it into this with a simple night of not being a grown-up. Consequences. So basically, a grown-up will accept the consequences of what they've done. And usually a grown-up will think things through and see if they're willing to accept the consequences. And if they're not, well, they don't want to do the time, they will not do the crime. That's what a grown-up does. A grown-up also takes care of other people before they take care of themselves. Now, a lot of adults will run around talking about my rights, my needs, my this, my that, my left ass cheek. A grown-up is going to identify a situation where somebody needs help. They might see somebody, I don't know, they don't have that much food in their kitchen. So they'll go out and maybe they'll drop off a few things. Maybe they leave a couple of bags of groceries on their doorstep without even letting them know, not to offend them or even to embarrass them. That's what a grown-up does. A grown-up takes the golden rule. Treat others as you would have others treat you, but they also take the initiative. They treat others the way they would want to be treated. Every equation has a first step. And for a grown-up, the first step is taking ownership, taking responsibility, and going out and making the world a better place. That's what I mean when I say we need a lot more grown-ups. We need adults, and for that matter, kids, who are willing to take responsibility for themselves, for their bodies, for their decisions, for their actions. That's what I mean when I say we need fewer adults, because we've got plenty of adults. Just look at the nightly news, it's chock full of adults. I don't want adults. I want grown-ups. You want grown-ups. We want grown-ups. Okay? And the more grown-ups we have, the better the place is going to get. Now, one last thing before I go. Out of all the things that an adult can do, okay, there's drinking, there's smoking, getting a car, getting a house, getting a credit card, getting in debt, getting in a dead-end job, all kinds of things you can do to ruin your life, potentially, to ruin your life. The most dangerous thing that you can do as an adult when you're not a grown-up, no, not drugs, voting. Actions have consequences, and voting is an action, and it's a very important one because we, Americans, are one of the very few people on the planet who get to, in some way or form, have a say in what our fate is going to be. Donald Trump was elected in 2016. You may like him, you may not. But he's going to be there until 2020, at least. Will he be reelected? I don't know. Should he be reelected? Not my place to say. Not yet. Your actions have consequences. What we're seeing right now in the world around us is what happens when you won't accept them. So come on. Be like the 12-year-old I know who sits there and washes the dishes after dinner and then cleans up his room and makes sure everything's straightened up and actually helps his parents out. Be the grown-up like that 12-year-old, not the adult living in mommy's basement. Till next time, kids. Peace out. Godspeed. Night all.